and disgusting, and thank you. It was, yeah, it is. It was healthy.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check, check, check.
Microphone in. I mean, my IP in right now. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. I can hear something. Hear myself.
Their dream of owning their own home is about to come true for
Coverage you can count on. You're watching WTVN News Leader Now. Sponsored by Montblick & Associates, Columbus Injury Attorneys.
5 arrests total now surrounding an evening that led to the death of a Columbus teen. Find out what message investigators have for parents about the consequences of underage drinking.
Also, 2 deadly officer-involved shootings causing outrages in North Carolina. An update on protests, and will investigators release dash cam video of the incident? And in Tulsa, new charges against the officer.
their dream of owning their own home is about to come true for 4 Chambers County families. Tonight we'll show you how first responders and hundreds of volunteers are making it happen.
And on this first day of fall, we have some hot weather to talk about. We'll detail what the weekend looks like for us as well as the rest of this week coming up in the forecast.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for News Leader 9 at 5. I'm Jason Dennis. Barbara is off today. We start with a developing story. 4 more Columbus teens have been arrested now for their involvement in a late-night drinking incident, which ultimately led to the death of 15-year-old Justin Patrick Johansson, according to investigators. Our Emily Arroyo joins us in studio now with more on those arrested in the past week. So, Emily, police say the charges these teens now face could have some serious life consequences.
Exactly, Jason. While they're not charged directly with the death of a Northside High School student known as JP, a group of 15 and 16-year-olds will still face a slew of misdemeanors. It's something investigators say could hurt the high schoolers down the road and should remind parents to be extra vigilant with their teens' activities. Since last Friday, officials arrested 4 more teens for curfew violations, minor in possession of alcohol, and obstruction charges for lying to police officers, allegedly. These charges stem from a September gathering in which officials believe alcohol consumption contributed to the death of 15-year-old Justin Johansson. JP was hit and killed by a Columbus driver after he was found laying in the road near River Road and Bradley Park Drive. Officials say this tragedy should serve as a reminder to everyone that the consequences of underage drinking and the charges teens face when caught are quite serious.
Later on, if they go to apply for school loans or job applications, if they've ever been arrested, they'll have to mark yes on an application or an enrollment to a school.
The first arrest in this case came last week when 17-year-old Giovanni Montez Claros was charged as an adult with 7 offenses, including 2 felonies. And coming up on the news at 6, we'll have more on what could land teens and adults alike in jail when it comes to underage drinking.
Well, Emily, the 4 new arrests, those teens have since been released to their parents, right?
Yeah, and they should face a juvenile judge within the next 2 weeks.
So now this investigation continues. Any more arrests possible?
They don't have any other suspects in mind, and they say none of the adults, no parents or anything like that, are being charged at this point.
We'll see what happens with these latest arrests. All right, thanks very much, Emily. We continue to follow another developing story as outcries for answers and unrest is taking place right now in Charlotte following a police shooting of a black man there in North Carolina. All of this coming from the shooting death of Keith Lamont Scott. Police also saying they will not release any video of the shooting to the public. Today, the National Guard moved in following a violent night of protests last night. You can see some of the video here of damage from windows being smashed in the downtown Charlotte area. And in Tulsa, a family and community also looking for answers following the shooting of an African-American man there. Today, Officer Betty Shelby is now being charged with first-degree manslaughter in the shooting death of Terrence Crutcher. A vigil took place late yesterday where leaders expressed what they thought about these recent events. The pastor of Metropolitan Baptist Church in Tulsa said the community believes they have a right to be mad, just like their fellow protesters in Charlotte. For now, the officer accused in the shooting is on paid administrative leave. Coming up a little later in this newscast, we'll have a report from Charlotte as they brace for the possibility of more protests tonight. Turning now to our weather on this first day of fall, but did it really feel like it in the air? You're taking a live look now from our Alpha Insurance Skycam with the sun still shining bright there over the Alabama Power Building in Eufaula. Storm Team 9 Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid is in our Alert Center tonight with more.
Jason, thanks. Yeah, out there today, a nice supply of sunshine on this first full day of fall, but the rain hard to come by. Most of those showers have been over parts of the Carolinas and over into East Georgia as well. That's also where we find most of the clouds. Now, we thought some of this might move a little bit further off to the west, but just wasn't the case out there today. Skies are mostly sunny, and they should stay that way through the next little bit. You can really tell, though, where it is cooler thanks to the cloud cover and rain. 80 right now in Augusta, Columbia, South Carolina, 83. Compare that to 92 in the Fountain City, Montgomery at 93 degrees. So the evening forecast stays warm and stays dry. Good weather for high school football out there tonight. We'll talk more about what the rest of the week and the weekend looks like coming up, Jason.
All right, thank you, Derek. More details for you tonight after a fire broke out at a home in Columbus, killing a family pet. Investigators say that fire started in the living room area from an overheating laptop computer. Firefighters arrived at around 9:30 this morning to that home on Shanna Lane near the intersection of Macon and Miller Roads. Investigators tell us the family who lived there had 2 dogs. One died as a result of this fire. One person was also sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A developing story for you as the body of a person killed in a one-car crash in Troup County is being sent to Atlanta for an autopsy. John Duncan, a Georgia Power worker, was killed on Interstate 185 near LaGrange yesterday. Officials say the crash happened when he lost control and tried to overcorrect his car. You see some of the images here. When troopers finally arrived to the scene, they discovered Duncan was already dead. And maybe one of the largest cybersecurity breaches ever. Yahoo says data, quote, associated with at least 500 million user accounts has been stolen. The company says it believes a state-sponsored actor was behind this data breach, meaning an individual acting on behalf of a government. The breach is believed to have occurred sometime in late 2014, and personal information like phone numbers and passwords were stolen, they say. Yahoo urges you to change your password and security questions to prevent any other breaches with your information. The 2016 Millard Fuller Legacy Build is happening right now in Valley, Alabama. 3 new homes and 1 remodel almost ready for their new families. Newsletter 9's Elizabeth White has their story.
Chambers County first responders and hundreds of volunteers are joining with the Fuller Center to make sure the dream of owning their own home becomes a reality for 4 local families.
Studies show that kids who grow up in a house, a decent house that their parents own, do better in school, they have fewer health problems and fewer behavioral problems.
Feels good. It's enjoyable to help somebody, and the homeowners are very appreciative.
Thanks to Chambers County first responders, other volunteers, and the Fuller Center, monthly mortgages are capped around $300 for families and are interest-free. Their payment goes back to the nonprofit to build more homes.
It means the world to me and my daughter. We'll get to own our own home. She'll get to come outside and play.
And after a week's worth of intense sweat equity, tomorrow the celebration, the homecoming, if you will, as these 4 families finally get the keys to their very own home. Reporting in Chambers County, I'm Elizabeth White.
And by the way, the Fuller family founded Habitat for Humanity in 1976. They founded the Fuller Center for Housing in 2005 and are building and renovating homes in 16 countries and communities all over the U.S. A Columbus business owner is getting ready for another year of putting smiles on kids' faces. Owner of East Coast Body Shop on Far Road is asking for bike donations for his Wishing Well Foundation bike giveaway, which happens every December. Each year, Jackson and his volunteers give away more than 1,000 bikes to children across the Chattahoochee Valley. He already has a trailer of more than 400 used bikes to be repaired, but he's also asking for close to 500 new bikes to help with this cause.
It is about our children. They deserve. They don't ask for much. A bicycle, it's not that much to just donate. $59, $63 for a bicycle. A child means so much.
Now in its 5th year, Jackson is hoping to collect more than 1,200 bikes this year because he ran out of bikes at the giveaway last year. Jackson also says he'll have secure trailers to protect the bikes after a few burglaries at the shop in the past. The supply of oil has been restored after what's being called the worst leak in 20 years taking place in Alabama and affecting gas prices. Today we get a look at how fast gas prices are expected to return to normal.
And your forecast for the next few days looking warm and dry. Great weather to hit those area lakes or maybe do a little hunting. Here's your fish and game forecast as we take you over to the commercial break for Friday. We'll talk more about what to expect as we end this week. And of course, the upcoming weekend is upon us. We'll have your forecast for that too.
After 2 nights of violent protests in Charlotte over the fatal officer-involved shooting, the city is now under a state of emergency, according to the governor. We have Raycom News Network covering this story overnight, and we have more on the shooting investigation as it stands right now. We have more information for you on that investigation. The shooting is still under investigation, as we're telling you, but we're learning the family of the man killed, Keith Lamont Scott, has requested to see police video of the shooting. There have been riots for 2 nights now, turning violent, injuring officers and civilians. The video you're seeing now is from overnight, showing flashbangs and tear gas to try to break up the violent vandals and looters. Today in a news conference, the police chief said he doubts the facts of the case would calm the rioting, whether they back the police's side of what happened in the shooting or protesters' side, and said again video will not be released to the public.
When can you expect it to believe? You shouldn't expect it to be released. As I said before, our practice has been not to release, but to allow for the party who feels they've been mistreated in any way to see that. A request has come our way to do just that, and we're going to honor that request.
And the chief says the video does not show Scott pointing a gun at officers, but he says it does support what he said happened earlier, that officers felt a lethal threat. Again, we have reporters on the scene there from Raycom News Network. We'll have more official reaction, what's taking place in Charlotte. We'll also have all the developments on our website, WTVM.com, on the national news section of our website. And now we're going to turn to our weather as it is the first day of fall. But Derek, it doesn't quite feel like it yet.
Jason, not yet. And you know, we've got some of those high school football games in progress tonight. It's not really going to feel very fall-like for those either. The kickoff temperature for the big America's Sumter and Northside game, 87 degrees. By the fourth quarter of that one, 82. Skies mostly clear and no rain to worry about tonight. In fact, we're going to keep that forecast warm and dry on Friday. And as we head into the weekend, more of the same. Mostly sunny skies both Saturday and Sunday with that dry weather in progress. In fact, I think both days will have highs in the low and mid 90s. And keep in mind, these numbers running a good 5 to 10 degrees above average for this time of year. But next week, we're still holding out hope that we'll get some rain in here, a better rain coverage coming our way early next week, and then perhaps a switch to that first taste of fall with some cooler temperatures in that 9-day forecast. We'll show you that in a moment. Right now, 92 out at the Columbus Airport. It's 93 in Phoenix City, 91 in Pine Mountain. So these numbers look a lot like they did yesterday. Same story on that bigger picture view. To the east, a little bit cooler, a few spots in the upper 80s, and that is thanks in part to more clouds that we're watching east of here. We thought this would be the case yesterday. Remember, we've been talking about this area of low pressure spinning here in the Carolinas. They are still dealing with clouds. They're still dealing with rain. Not really a lot of the rain making it down here, but we are seeing some of the fringe of that cloud cover moving into some of our Georgia counties. Now, over the next couple of days, the futurecast will keep most of that rain and cloudy weather east of here. So our Friday looks nice early. If you have any plans getting out to school and work, no problems at all. More clouds expected in some of those Georgia counties versus East Alabama as we head into the afternoon. But we're going to leave the rain chance out on Friday. So great weather for those high school football games or any plans you might have Friday night. By Saturday, we'll start the weekend on a pretty sunny note, and we're going to keep things mostly sunny into the afternoon and evening on Saturday, likely on Sunday too, with no big weather concerns for us. Your forecast tonight, skies mostly clear. We're going to go with lows in the upper 60s and low 70s. Another fairly comfortable night out there. Hogansville 67, 71 for Columbus, Ellaville 68, Butler at 71, and that mix of upper 60s and low 70s expected down to our south. For tomorrow, a good looking day. Sunny early. We're going to stay mostly sunny by the afternoon. We'll call it warm, 92 on your Friday. So lots of things going on over the course of the next couple of days. You've got the movies Under the Stars at the Columbus Library on Friday night. You've got the Auburn LSU game Saturday. The big beer and wine festival kicks off in Columbus on Saturday as well. And we don't anticipate any weather issues for those events. By next week, though, a better coverage of rain, perhaps a few storms Tuesday, Wednesday, but even then, the chances are pretty low. Beyond that, we'll dry things out again. So hopefully next week we can get a little bit of rain in here.
It's always good to have the umbrella in the car, but you might not need to pull it out until maybe, sometime next week.
Yeah, it looks like Monday to Wednesday, the time frame with the best chance of rain. Even then, though, most will stay dry.
First day of fall now.
Indeed.
All right,
it's here.
Thank you, Derek. Now to the race for the White House as we get very close to the first debate. A new poll is showing Hillary Clinton leading Donald Trump by a total of 6 points. Is your voice, your vote tonight? A four-way matchup shows Clinton has support from 43% of likely voters, while Trump has 37% in the latest Wall Street Journal poll. Libertarian Party nominee Gary Johnson is at 9%, and the Green Party's Jill Stein is at 3%. In a two-way matchup, Clinton leads Trump by 7 points, 48 to 41%. And that first presidential debate right around the corner. On Monday, the candidates will face off in the first debate from New York. 2 other presidential debates also on the schedule, including on October 9th, which you can watch right here on WTVM. ABC's Martha Raddatz will be the moderator for that debate broadcast live from St. Louis, Missouri. You can stay up to date with all the campaign action by going to the Election 2016 section of our website, WTVM.com. Operation to the Colonial Pipeline, which broke in Alabama, is back in service, but now we're getting a look at how long gas prices in southern states will return to normal. According to Fortune.com, gas prices in Georgia inched up another cent for an average of $2.37 per gallon in the state, about 28 cents higher compared to this time last week. Officials with the Colonial Pipeline expect it to take at least a week for prices to return to normal. We're also getting a look at the scope of the spill, as it's being called the biggest leak in nearly 2 decades. The Georgia Department of Labor reports the unemployment rate in Columbus is going down. The rate in August was 6.2%. That's down from 6.4% in July and 7% in August of last year. The rates for the River Valley region in August were 6.5%. The Labor Department says the number of jobs increased by 100 this past month, and over the year, the Fountain City has seen 800 total new jobs. Happening now, Callaway Gardens is hosting a job fair for full and part-time positions for this year's Fantasy and Lights. The fair will go until 6 at Azalea Hall on Highway 354 in Pine Mountain. You have a little more time to get out there. Some of those positions they're looking for include cooks, attendants, and safety officers. If you missed the fair, you can also apply online for these jobs. Just go to our website, WTVM.com. You'll find all the information under our local tab. Hundreds taken to the golf course today, all to raise money for a good cause. We'll tell you how much money it was expected to raise and who it is going for. Well, it's that time of the week again to preview the teams competing in our Sports Overtime Game of the Week. Central coming into 2016 with a lot of preseason hype, and so far they've lived up to it, going undefeated so far in region play. But a large task lies ahead of the Red Devils as they get ready to face Opelika. We talked with head coach Jamie Dubose as he prepares his team for another big game.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Jamie Dubose, head coach, Central High School, Phoenix City. Today's going to be what you make it. Let's go. You walk around, we're going to be sorry now. Let's go. So our guys are starting to pick up on the things we want to do and the things that, you know, are part of who we are, our process. And, you know, hopefully we'll learn from last week and gain a little bit more into this week and continue to get better. Don't get through the morning, get better. Hey, get better, man. You know, our motto is be 1-0 come Sunday, all right? Be 1-0 come Saturday. You know, last week's in the past, it's history, it's in the rearview mirror. That's the way we look at it. We don't care about last week. Hey, give me a look, team for Opelika. Here we go. Hey, man, the setting's set to be another great game. You know, we're both coming in highly ranked in both 6A and 7A classifications. It's what you play high school football for. Hey, gotta have great attitude now, great attitude, great enthusiasm now. Let's go. There's a lot of history with this game with a lot of people, and you know, every year they seem to be tops in their classification. We seem to be tops in ours. So I'd say this game right now by far has been a bigger rivalry than any other game we've played. When a person in North Alabama looks in the newspaper and sees Central Phoenix City Opelika this Friday night, they're going to go, wow, that's a big game right there. Right in there, right in there, right in there. We've got to be able to play solid football against Opelika. We've done it at times, but then we haven't done it at times, and we need to put it together every time. And that's where our deal is this week, is just play fast, smart, and physical football. And if we can do those three areas, I'll be happy coming out of Friday night.
We'll see what happens. Central faces Opelika in our Sports Overtime Game of the Week. We'll have the highlights Friday night at 11 Eastern Time right here on News Leader 9. As we said, Central taking on Opelika tomorrow. We'll have a look at an Opelika running back, which could help propel them to a victory tomorrow. Just go to our website, WTVM.com, and click on the Sports Overtime section on the homepage. You can also take a look at other big games we're covering tomorrow for Sports Overtime here on News Leader 9. More than 300 folks taking to the golf course today, all for a great cause. Pratt & Whitney hosting its 12th annual golf tournament to support the United Way of the Chattahoochee Valley. The tournament at Bull Creek Golf Course in Midland is expected to raise more than $100,000 for United Way. People from all over the country, as well as 2 people from Singapore, are in Columbus for this fundraiser.
This money will help us reach our goal of $7,110,000, and it will support after-school programs locally. It will support our housing program for veterans, disabled. It stays right here and helps people that need it the most.
United Way President and CEO Scott Ferguson says today's tournament was completely sold out and was a great success. We're back with more late-breaking headlines in just a few minutes on the news at 5:30, where we'll tell you more about how Auburn area schools are seeing a large influx of students, leading to some growing pains. We'll tell you how the school system is preparing for that future growth. That's coming up at 5:30.
What we're going to do is honor a request that has been made with the family.
Their dream of
The first and third headphones are sauce.
Okay, thank you.